The Amiga 600 released in March of 1992 and was shortly discontinued in 1993. The Amiga 600 certainly packed a powerful punch and was noticeably smaller than its two predecessors, the Amiga 500 and the Amiga 500 Plus. Now, for me personally, I find the smaller Amiga 600 much more of a blessing, as I don't need the numerical pad anyway, and I'm drastically running out of space to store my consoles. The Amiga 600 was shortly taken over by a much sleeker model known as the Amiga 1200, as seen here, being put together on the production line. The lifespan of the 1200 ran from 1992 to 1996 and boasted a much more superior chip, the Motorola 68E CO20, compared to the Amiga 600's 16-bit Motorola 68000. What does that mean? I have no clue. I just know that it's better and it sounds pretty gnarly on this intro. That's right, welcome to the Amiga project part 3. It is right here. I'm going to get right in and show you guys exactly what's new. It definitely looks a lot different because if you saw part 2, the GoTek was on the outside, and I admitted that I'm not very technical when it comes to things like this. But now, as you guys can see, the GoTek is on the inside, and I'm going to explain what all of this is and exactly what is different. So on the shell of things, the kind of outer looks pretty much the same, aside from the OLED display that you guys saw. That OLED display was initially on the GoTek, but Steve said, look, if we send it back to have a full capacitor replacement, I'm going to show you before and after pics, a full capacitor replacement, I will kind of do this process for you. And if you don't know who Steve is, formerly known as Amiga Passion, now known as Retro Passion, this guy to me is the Amiga god. The amount of technical things this like Steve does. My brother's ringing me. He's gonna have to wait. And the amount of things he does is just unbelievable, and I'm always gonna be, I wanna get my Amiga 500 recap soon, so let's take a look at the OLED display, and I'll link your socials in the description, by the way, guys. So the OLED display, which obviously we can see that the Amiga is on right now, got the USB with all the ROMs in, and you can just see there's the kind of two buttons, the forward and back, to be able to scan through the discs. So as you guys can see, it's dead easy to kind of come through. It's just so much easier, like a ton easier. Really, really nice, dead straightforward. So if we start up a game, let me start up Chaos Engine if I can. See if we can get back to it. There we go. Okay, so this should be disc, oh no, that's disc 2 of 2. So we'll just switch to disc 1. It won't obviously start if you've got disc 2 on. So disc 1, you leave it for a couple of minutes, and then it should start up on the screen right there. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. So like I said, it's so much easier to go this way. I had the GoTek hanging out all over the place, and it was just an absolute mess. Now, in the first 2 episodes, a lot of you good people said, Gemma, you must get the capacitors replaced on the board. You're going to hear some music blasting out in a minute, so I might just kind of cut away and turn off Chaos Engine. But joking aside, capacitors, I did get them replaced. Here is what a before picture looked like of the internals of this Amiga 600. And yes, it's pretty dusty, as you guys can see. It's pretty destroyed, demolished, but afterwards it looks pretty darn nice. And Steve was also awesome enough to give it, I think it's called like a supersonic, something hydroponic, crazy, majestic bath. We've got Chaos Engine blurring out. 2 seconds. Yeah, so it's the board itself has been completely cleaned down, ridden of all dust, and then the capacitor's replaced. The GoTek fit inside. The OLED display is also on to make things a lot easier when I'm actually playing on my 600. So this puppy, it's looking pretty darn nifty. It's looking pretty darn nifty. Now you're probably wondering what this contraption is here, because I actually have a Sega Mega Drive controller. So it was actually Patrick, again, shout out to Patrick, that's also been, I guess, Steve's wingman on this journey with helping me set up my Amiga. You know, I said, look, I've never been a huge fan of the joysticks for the Amiga. I find them very, very difficult to play with. The ergonomics just aren't quite right for me, and obviously I'm a controller kind of girl. So when I plugged in my pad to my 500 many years ago, everybody's like, don't do that, you'll blow the board, don't do it. Even though it fit and it worked, everyone advised against it. So I reached out to Patrick, and he said there's actually this adapter that you can plug into your Amiga and then plug in your Sega controller in the other end. So for me as a player now, because I've been playing a lot of this, it is so much easier to play, so much more enjoyable to play, and my hand doesn't feel like it's going to fall off as I'm playing through the likes of, say, Chuck Rock or something. So very, 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 very happy with this. Really stoked, and I would urge you guys to check out Retro Passion if you've got anything you know, that you want fixing on your Amiga capacitor's place. Please go and check Steve out and tell him I sent you. So over the last week then, I've obviously been sat here playing through some of the games on the USB stick, and I just wanted to talk about some of them now. The first one, I've written it down here, Alien 3 was the first game that I popped in, that I loaded up from via the GoTek from the USB, and it's been a while since I've played Alien 3 on the Amiga, and it's just freaking awesome. I was terrible at it, and at that time I was playing with the joystick, so I'm actually eager to go back to it, because I found like traversing the ladders, even just kind of getting on them with the joystick, was a little bit of a faff. But now, hopefully, playing with the Sega Mega Drive controller, it'll be a lot easier to navigate those small tunnels in Alien 3 and just kick those xenomorph arse. So I've really been enjoying that. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have also seen me playing on Lotus Turbo Challenge, which is one of my favourite experiences and games on the Amiga, which sounds odd for me because I always boast I'm not a racing kind of girl. I'm very much kind of platform or strategy or kind of RPG, but I really, really like it. Like graphically for me, I think it still looks and sounds remarkable. I love the little stat screen of the different cars that you get and the kind of detail and intricacies of that. I love the fact that it's like split screen 2-player as well. I mean, for me, it just kind of packed a huge punch and had a massive impact on me when I was growing up. And even today, it just feels brand new and fresh to me. Cool little soundtrack as well. And I've got a massive soft spot for Lotus Turbo Challenge on the Amiga. I think there's like 3 Lotus Turbo Challenge games on here. Were there more than 3 on the Amiga, or were there like just 3? So that's kind of my question to you. If anybody can answer that, that would be radical. Next up then, I have also been diving into some Chaos Engine, which if you're, I guess, just a 16-bit fan, you should be familiar with, because it's available on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive, and it seems to kind of really shine on its own on the Amiga. It takes the form of like a top-down run and gun kind of game. You play with AI, or you can play with a second player, and you just shoot and move on and switch switches and collect items, and it's just a ton of fun. It's frustrating at times because I was like dying a lot, because at this point I'm still on one of those really janky Amiga joysticks. Not anymore. And it's like when you die, you kind of go all the way back to it's like Snakes and Ladders, you go all the way down to the first, like where you started, step 1, and then you have to kind of plough through the level again. Luckily, you don't have to kill the enemies. You literally just have to traverse around to where you were and then kill the enemies from there. So that's taken up a lot of my time this week as well, and I've really, really enjoyed playing the Amiga, and I'd like to bring more Amiga content to this channel. So if there's anything else you'd like to see in terms of the Amiga, any particular reviews of any games, I would love to dive into that and do more video content on the Amiga. So please let me know in the comment section below. And again, I needed a lot of help with the Amiga, so I want to thank everybody that's reached out to me on social media and helped, because you've been all diamonds and nobody's taken the mickey at me because I'm just a technophobe when it comes to this side of retro gaming. So thank you for being kind also. So there we go, we have new capacitors, we have a clean board, we have the GoTek inside, we have the OLED display, we have an awesome new adapter that enables me to use the Sega Mega Drive controller on the Amiga. What an absolute wicked upgrade, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Amiga project. Let's take it further. Let's do episode 4. Maybe it will be a review based on what you guys recommend in the comments. But for now, if you've enjoyed this content, subscribe. If not, don't bother, and I'll see you soon. My name is Gemma. See you soon.